Hello and welcome to yet another video. This is the third episode of the story, in which Naruto sets out to discover his true reason for being Hokage. Look out, Ninja World! A new Naruto Uzumaki has arrived. Please like and subscribe to show your support. Let's get the show started. Naruto was not an emotionally stable person. The mask he wore around people was proof enough of that. Growing up alone and being ignored by everyone made Naruto cherish whatever kind of relationship he could have with other people. He didn't care if people thought of him as an idiot, as long as his existence was acknowledged. Naruto didn't care about looking bad. It was no surprise that the blonde panicked when Shikamaru asked how he was so sure of Gaara having a demon inside of him. Shikamaru watched Naruto with a questioning look. The blonde seemed to be having an internal battle. He guessed that this was a sensitive subject for Naruto, but he didn't know why. Shikamaru had always been an observant person and had been able to notice the way people looked at Naruto. Every time they would look at him with cold eyes, Naruto would get a sad look on his eyes. The genius noticed that Naruto had that same sad look at the moment. Putting two and two together, Shikamaru immediately knew that the looks people gave him had something to do with what Gaara had said on the hospital. How do he has a demon inside of him, Naruto? Shikamaru asked once again. Naruto clenched his left fist before relaxing it. Just a feeling I have, he exclaimed with a smile plastered on his face. Shikamaru was about to call him a liar, but saw the look on Naruto's eye, a look of pain and desperation. Fine, he said with a sigh. What do you plan on doing about Gaara? I'm not sure, Naruto admitted. We should see how Sasuke does against him, and if things look bad I'll enter the fight. You'll be disqualified if you interrupt a fight, Shikamaru said with a frown. Naruto smiled. I know, he glanced at Sasuke and Gaara with a smirk, but I really want to fight Sasuke so I can't let him get killed. Man, Shikamaru said with a sigh, I guess I'll help if the situation comes. You should also watch your backs, Shino said from behind Naruto. Naruto jumped away with a yelp. What the hell, Shino? Don't just appear behind people's backs, he exclaimed with an angry look. What did you mean, Shino? Shikamaru asked with a frown. Whatever it was, Shikamaru knew that it would be a pain in the ass. I overheard the Sand Shinobi talking about a plan, Shino said. I'm not sure what that plan is, but my bugs have detected small spikes of chakra throughout the village's outskirts that disappear before being traced. This means that whatever they're planning is big. Just what I needed, Shikamaru said with a groan. I should have never gotten out of bed. Do you think we should tell the Hokage? Naruto asked in a serious tone. Shino shook his head. I'm not really sure, he explained. I noticed that there are several Umbu around the crowd, so he probably already knows. I still have to tell him, Naruto said, even if he already knows. I'll feel better if I know for sure. All right, Shino said with a nod. You're right, it's best to make sure that the Hokage is aware of the situation. Naruto smiled. I'll go see him right now, the blonde said. You guys stick close to the Sand Ninja in case they try anything. What about Gaara? Shikamaru asked. Let Sasuke fight him for a while, Naruto said before grinning. He's more than capable of holding him back. Sasuke stared at Gaara with a frown. Kakashi had helped him increase his speed and master Lee's taijutsu style. The Jonin had even taught him a move that would be of great help against the Sand Ninja. Not to mention the aid his Sharingan would give him on the fight. The Uchiha knew that he would win and smirked. Are you two ready? Genma asked, receiving nods from the two genin. Okay then, begin. Sharingan coming to life, Sasuke ran at Gaara in an inhuman speed. Gaara simply stood where he was and calmly unleashed his sand. Sasuke faked a punch, making Gaara use his sand to cover, and smirked. The Uchiha disappeared from sight in an amazing show of speed and appeared behind Gaara. The Sand Ninja used his sand to strike Sasuke, but the Sharingan saw the move coming. Sasuke leaned to the right, dodging the sand, and threw a punch that made contact with Gaara's jaw. The redhead sailed through the air before falling on the ground with a painful thud. Gaara stood up and glared at Sasuke. What's wrong? Is that all you got? Sasuke asked with a smirk. You're no match for me. I'll kill you, Gaara hissed. Let's see if it's not the other way around, Sasuke said as he ran at Gaara. Gaara tried to hit Sasuke with sand, but found that the Uchiha was too fast, much like Lee. Sasuke watched the sand chasing him and smirked. He ran around Gaara before running directly at him. Gaara's eyes widened as Sasuke's foot made contact with his jaw. The sand ninjas sailed through the air before meeting ground once again. I have to finish this now, Sasuke said through pants. In order to move so fast, Sasuke needed to constantly enhance his leg muscles with chakra. This meant that he was limited to only using taijutsu while on that speed. Gaara's sand enveloped the redhead and created a dome around him. Sasuke threw kunais at it, but watched as they bounced off of it. Like he guessed, the density of the sand made it as strong as steel. The only way he could end the match would be to use the new jutsu Kakashi had taught him. Sasuke ran to the top of the arena's wall and gathered his chakra into his left hand. He gave a quick glance at Gaara and saw what appeared to be an eyeball forming on top of the sand dome. Sasuke didn't know what his opponent was doing, but whatever Gaara was planning had to be stopped. Sasuke got the feeling that it would be a strong jutsu, so it was better to stop it before it was performed. Sasuke was brought out of his thoughts when he heard the sound of chirping birds and smirked. The match would be over soon. Don't tell me you taught him that jutsu, Guy exclaimed in shock. As he turned his gaze to the masked Jonin standing next to him. Kakashi had met with them after dropping Sasuke off in the fight area. That's the reason why I wanted him as my student, Kakashi said. He's much like me apart from the Sharingan. But to teach him that move, Guy said with a frown. He knows the restrictions of that move, he can handle it, Kakashi said with an eye smile. It's ready, Sasuke thought with a smirk. Sasuke ran at Gaara with a yell. His attack would be able to get through the sand, there was no doubt. Sand shot out of the dome, but the Sharingan saw each move. Sasuke leaned to the left to dodge an oncoming shot of sand before spinning to the right to avoid a large wave of sand. The sand went back to Gaara, but it would be a few seconds before it could strike again, more than enough time for Sasuke. Chidori! Sasuke yelled as the attack pierced through the dome. What is this? Gaara thought from inside of the dome with a hand inside of his left shoulder. What is this feeling, mother? It feels wet and hot, what is it? A single droplet was heard and Gaara's eyes widened. It's blood, he whispered, blood. My blood. Gaara's scream was heard throughout the arena, scaring most of the crowd and even a few ninja. The dome of sand fell apart and Gaara clutched his head in pain. The Uchiha knew that something was off by the look on Gaara's eyes, but knew that he would still win the match. Naruto ran through the hallways of the arena. He had to let the Hokage know that the Sand Ninja were planning to do something. The blonde refused to let any outsiders endanger the life of his friends. He exited the hallway and found himself only a few steps away from the Hokage's balcony. Naruto heard a scream and looked at the fight area where Gaara was seen clutching his head. The blonde knew that this wouldn't be the end of Gaara, someone like him wouldn't go out so easily. Sasuke had done a good job, regardless, and he would jump in to help once he spoke to the Hokage. I knew you could do it, Sasuke, just hang on, Naruto thought as he ran to the Hokage's balcony but noticed that there were feathers floating around him. What is this? Gaara is hurt, Temari said with a look of disbelief. She noticed that many people were put to sleep and gave a nod to her brother. It started. We have to get Gaara to his position. Kankuro nodded. You're right, he said, it would be bad to have him transform here. The two prepared to jump down to the fight area to get Gaara, but found that they were unable to move. Shadow possession success, Shikamaru said with a smirk. The two siblings growled at the shadow user. Before they could say anything, the two were knocked out by Shino. The bug user had devised a plan in case the two sand siblings made a move, and it had gone perfectly. The two genin saw many ninja jump out of the stands and attack the leaf ninja. Soon, battles broke out all throughout the stands. The enemy ninja wore sand and sound headbands, meaning that it had been worse than what Shino had thought. Looks like I was right, Shino said. Hopefully Naruto made it to the Hokage. Don't worry about him, Shikamaru said with a smirk. He'll make it there. What we have to worry about is what our next move will be. We should just attack the enemy ninja, Shino said. It's not subtle, but it's the only thing we can do at this point. Shikamaru shook his head. We have to plan our next move. It won't be smart to just charge in, he explained. They must have an ace in the hole. I don't think that they just planned on attacking head-on. Frontal attacks are always used as distractions. All we have to do is find their secret weapon and take it down. What is that secret weapon? Shino asked. Shikamaru glanced at Gaara. I think I know what it is. Gaara clutched his head in pain. His mother was angry at him for not doing a good job on killing the Uchiha. Her screams were loud and Gaara tried to reason with her, but to no avail. Only killing the Uchiha would make her stop screaming at him. Calm down, Gaara. Baki yelled as he appeared next to Gaara. You have to follow the mission. Nobody will leave this spot, Genma said with a frown. Damn, Baki growled. Gaara, I want you to leave while I take care of this man. Sasuke, Genma said with a serious look, I want you to make Gaara leave the village. I have a feeling that they want to use him for something big. What about my match? Sasuke asked with a scowl. The exams are cancelled, Genma answered. Your village needs you now, so go. Sasuke growled but nodded. Hey Gaara. The Uchiha called out, let's finish our match somewhere else. Gaara hissed as he watched Sasuke leave the arena. He couldn't leave. His mother wanted the Uchiha's blood and she would have it. Gaara would make sure of that. If he killed the Uchiha, then his mother wouldn't be angry at him anymore and she would stop hurting him. His existence would be proven with the death of the Uchiha. Get back here. Gaara yelled as he ran after Sasuke. Ino felt tired and didn't know why. She had been watching Sasuke's match and it had been interesting. It wasn't as good as Naruto's in her opinion, but it was a good match nonetheless. Her eyelids felt heavy and she made a note that maybe she was training too hard. She felt a hand on her shoulder and her eyes snapped open. You're on a genjutsu, Kakashi said with his hand on her shoulder. He took it off and placed a hand on Choji. Release. W what? Choji muttered as he woke up. Listen up you two, Kakashi said, getting the attention of the two genin. Choji, I want you to stay here and keep the villagers safe. W what are you talking about? Ino asked in slight fear. There's a battle going on, Kakashi explained. Ino and Choji looked around and noticed several ninja fighting with ninjas from the sand and sound villages. Ino, I want you to find Naruto and tell him to go help Sasuke out. Right, Ino said with a nod. Kakashi ran through hand signs and slammed his hands onto an unconscious man's back. Summoning Jutsu, a small white dog with a Konoha headband as a collar appeared. I want you to look for a scent of sand moving away from the village. Got it, the dog said with a nod. Ino, I want you to tell Naruto to follow this dog, Kakashi instructed. It will take him to where Sasuke is. Go now. I'll find Naruto, Ino said with a nod as she and the dog left. Shikamaru. Sakura exclaimed when she entered the participants' balcony. What is it? Shikamaru asked before turning to the small dog next to Sakura. Whose dog is that? I'm not just a dog. My name is Pakin and I am a ninja dog, the dog said. There's no time for introductions, Sakura said in slight panic. Kakashi-sensei told me get you guys to go after Sasuke so you can help him out. How do we find them? Shino asked. Leave that to me, Pakin said with pride. I have his scent, so just follow me. Let's go, Shino said. Pakin, Shino, and Sakura leapt out of the arena while Shikamaru groaned. Man, Shikamaru said with a groan, what did I do to deserve this? The teen thought of just staying there, but knew that the village needed his help. With a sigh, Shikamaru leapt out of the arena and followed after his comrades. Naruto felt a burning sensation on his left wrist. He lifted his left glove to see a small seal flashing red before returning to its normal black color. The blonde quickly spiked his chakra and watched as the feathers around him disappeared. I guess I have to thank Jiraiya-sensei for putting that seal on me, Naruto muttered to himself with a small grin. He heard an explosion and saw that it came from the roof of the Hokage's balcony. The blonde's eyes widened and he clenched his fists. The third was once of his precious people and the person that kept the village from falling apart. He wouldn't let anybody hurt him. He saw a group of ANBU jumping towards the Hokage. For fake ANBU attacked the group, but a single one with a white cloak charged at them. Naruto watched in awe as the single ANBU defeated the 4 enemy ninja, disguised as ANBU, in just a few moves. The smoke coming from the explosion engulfed everything around it, but Naruto saw the outline of a person jump out of one of the corpses. Naruto gasped when he saw that the figure was jumping towards where the Hokage was. Naruto gritted his teeth when he saw that shadows leapt out of the other bodies with the same destination, the Hokage. The blonde quickly formulated a plan and summoned a single clone. "Throw me up there as hard as you can," Naruto ordered. The clone complied and flung the blonde towards one of the jumping figures. Naruto sailed through the air and made out one of the figures. It was an overweight ninja with an orange mohawk, wearing an outfit similar to Orochimaru's. The blonde was heading straight at him and readied his right fist. Before the sound ninja that was headed towards the Hokage could register what happened, he felt something hard connect with his gut. His eyes widened and all air left his body. He tried to see what had hit him but received a kick on the head that slammed him towards the ground. The sound ninja landed on the fight area of the arena with a loud thud. "Got him," Naruto thought with a grin before following after the ninja. "Now, tell me what you want with the Hokage," Naruto exclaimed in anger. The ninja stood up slowly and glared at the blonde. "Are you the one who attacked me? And I'm the one who will kill you if you don't tell me what I want to know," Naruto said with a frown. "I don't know what you guys are planning to do, but if you threaten those precious to me, then I'll have to kick your ass. I don't care about who's important to you. I will kill you for ruining our plans," the sound ninja said. "My name is Jirobo, and I'm the one who will kill you." Naruto smirked. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage of the Leaf Village." Sasuke panted as he ran through the woods outside of Konoha. He was eager to fight Gaara but knew that fighting him near the village would only get him distracted. It would only be him against Gaara, the perfect way to end his match with the Sand Ninja. His training with Kakashi had made him a new person and Gaara would pose no threat to him. Sasuke landed on a large clearing and smirked at Gaara, who landed in front of him. "We will settle our match here, Gaara." "I will kill you," Gaara said with a psychotic glare. "You're no match for an Uchiha," Sasuke said as his Sharingan came to life. Orochimaru growled as he stood in front of his old sensei. The blonde brat had put a major damper on his plans. The Snake Sannin had planned this attack in order to get closer to Sasuke and deal the harsh blow on his home village. He had been looking forward to killing the Hokage, but now he was forced to leave before things got too heated. He watched the fights going on around the arena and smirked when he saw several Sand Ninja being killed. He couldn't believe how naive their village was. It only took him a few pretty words to get them riled up for the attack. His eyes narrowed when he saw Jirobo. The Snake Sannin would make him regret letting his guard down. The Snake Summoner turned to the 3 members of the Sound Four, faithfully standing by his side. "I want you to kill the blonde brat," Orochimaru told his ninja. "Leave as soon as you do or if things get too hard." "Yes, sir," the 3 said before leaving the spot. "Are you okay, third Hokage?" asked the ANBU with the white cloak in concern, while 5 more stood in front of Orochimaru with weapons on their hands. "I'm fine," Sarutobi said. "I want you to find some help for Naruto." "As you wish, sir," the ANBU said before, disappearing in a swirl of leaves. My, you give me a lot of attention, Sarutobi-sensei," Orochimaru said with a chuckle, amused at the ANBU who thought they would kill him. "You will die here, Orochimaru," Sarutobi said with a frown. "I don't believe I will," Orochimaru said as he turned into a pile of mud before disappearing into the ground. "Find him quick," the third Hokage ordered. Some of the ANBU chased after Orochimaru while most of them stayed with the Hokage. "We need to take you to a safe place," an ANBU said. Sarutobi nodded. "Very well, there's not much I can do except be there to guide my people when this is over." "Wind style, wind wave." Naruto yelled as a small wave of wind came out of his hands. The attack is Jirobo dead on but did little to no damage, damn it. Naruto had been fighting Jirobo by keeping a safe distance between the two and using long-range attacks. His wind jutsu proved to be no match for Jirobo's large figure and earth jutsu. The sound ninja hadn't been able to land a hit on him, which Naruto was grateful for, since he had seen what Jirobo's punches could do. "Stop running away, you piece of trash!" Jirobo yelled as he threw a large boulder at Naruto. The blonde jumped away but was suddenly struck on the back. He fell on the ground with a painful thud and jumped away quickly when he saw a kind of web shooting towards him. Naruto looked at the newcomers and gritted his teeth. There were now 4 sound ninja against him. "You're having trouble with this one, fatty?" A kunoichi with red hair asked with a smirk. "I told you not to call me that, Tayuya," Jirobo said with a frown. It might not be Jirobo's fault. "The kid ruined Master Orochimaru's plans and dodged an attack from Kadamaru," said a sound ninja with blue hair, "but dodging an attack from him isn't so hard anyway." "Watch it, Sakan," Kadamaru said with a snarl. Tayuya smirked. "What are you going to do about it, shitstain? You're the weakest from the group next to Fatass." Wind style, devastation. Naruto blew a powerful gust out of his mouth. The attack hit home but only managed to knock Kadamaru against the wall while everyone else dodged, or in Jirobo's case, planted his feet on the ground. "You got some nerve, shithead," Tayuya said with a hiss. "We will make sure your death is not pretty," said a head coming out of Sakan's back. "Let's have some fun with him first, Yukon," Sakan said with a twisted smile. "Wait, there are only 3 of them. Where did the other one go?" Naruto thought while looking around for the 4th member. "Here I am." Jirobo yelled from under the ground. The earth beneath Naruto's feet gave out and he received a powerful punch on his jaw. The blonde sailed through the air before crashing into the arena's wall. Naruto fell to the ground and tried to stand but fell back down. His vision was blurry and everything seemed to spin. That Jirobo really packed a punch, he had. Been smart to stay away from him at first. Jirobo had been enough trouble as it was, but with the rest of the Sound 4 joining in, things became a lot more difficult. "You damned piece of trash!" Kadamaru yelled as he stood up. He had a large gash on the left side of his face and what appeared to be a broken nose. "I'll make you pay for catching me off guard." Kadamaru ran at him, blinded by rage, while Naruto stood up slowly. "Wind style," Naruto muttered as he went through 4 hand signs, "air bullets." The blonde put a hand around his mouth and shot out several balls of air. The attack struck Kadamaru on the chest and one struck him on the head, knocking him unconscious. Naruto grinned when he saw the ninja go down. The sound ninja had underestimated him and paid for it, but he knew that the others wouldn't make the same mistake. The ground shook beneath Naruto and his eyes widened. Forgot about him, Naruto thought as he jumped in order to avoid the attack. The blonde felt a foot connect with his head and cried in pain as he fell to the ground. He managed to regain his footing and landed safely on the ground, but when he did he was painfully reminded that Jirobo was still fighting. The blonde received a punch to the gut that sent him crashing against a tree. "You're not very good," Sakan said with a chuckle. Shut up," Naruto said while standing up shakily. His head was throbbing and there was a trail of blood covering the right side of his face. The blonde took out a single kunai and pointed it at Jirobo. "What are you going to do with that?" Jirobo asked with a smirk. "You won't even be able to hit me with that little knife." Naruto threw the kunai at Jirobo but ran through 2 hand signs and pointed his palm at it. Wind style, gale palm. A stream of wind hit the kunai and increased its speed, taking Jirobo by surprise. Jirobo tried to dodge, but the kunai stabbed into his right arm. "Damn you!" he exclaimed in anger. I will kill you for this. You deserve that, fatty, Taiyuya said with an amused smirk. Naruto slipped into his taijutsu stance and looked at his opponents. From the way they talked to each other, he assumed that they were stronger than Jirobo. Naruto didn't know how he fared against Jirobo since he had only taken Kidamaru out due to the sound ninja just charging at him. So far the Taiyuya girl hadn't done anything, but Naruto knew that she was strong since she didn't appear to be intimidated by her teammates. Naruto, the blonde, heard from the stands. He turned to his right and saw Ino running towards him. Looks like we have company, Sakan said with a smirk. Take care of her, Jirobo. Naruto's eyes widened and he saw Jirobo charge at Ino. The blonde immediately ran after him at a speed he didn't know he had. He watched as Jirobo raised his fist and Ino's eyes widened in surprise. The sound ninja brought his fist down, but before it could make contact he received a powerful punch on his jaw. Jirobo sailed through the air before crashing against the arena's wall. What are you doing here? Naruto asked harshly with his hand aching slightly from the punch he delivered. Don't talk to me like that. Ino snapped with a frown. You can't be here, Ino. You'll get hurt. Naruto exclaimed in concern. Ino's eyes softened and she gave a small smile. I'm a ninja too, Naruto, she said. I'm able to take care of myself. I've been training hard to do so. But I can't let you get hurt, Naruto said with desperation on his eyes. Naruto, Ino said with a sad smile, remember what you told me when I asked why you trained so hard. You said that you wanted to get stronger so you would be able to help your friends and not be a burden. Ino, Naruto said sadly. He knew that Ino felt like a burden and had been working hard in order to be considered important. Right now, he was making her feel like a burden. Please, Naruto, Ino said in desperation, let me help you. I'll show you that I can take care of myself. Fine, Naruto said with a small grin, I guess 3-2 are better odds. Unfortunately, you won't be fighting them, Kakashi said as he jumped in front of them. Kakashi-sensei? Naruto asked in confusion. I'll be fighting these three, Kakashi said before turning to Ino. I believe you had something to do. Right, Ino said with a nod. Naruto, we have to go help Sasuke with Gaara. Sasuke's is still fighting him? Naruto asked in disbelief. He is. That ninja dog will take you to where they are, Kakashi explained. This is an A-rank mission and you're in charge, Naruto. Remember to take care of your comrades and protect the village at all costs. I got it, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto said before nodding at Ino. Let's go, Ino said to the dog. The ninja dog nodded and leapt out of the arena with Naruto and Ino following. Now, Kakashi said with an eye smile as he turned to the three-sound ninja, I'll finish what my student started. Damn it, Taiyuya cursed with a snarl. The one-eyed Jonin would be a strong foe. He was Kakashi, a man who was said to have copied over 1,000 jutsu. Fighting someone like him would be suicide even if all of the Sound Four fought together. We have no choice but to escape, Sakan whispered to his two teammates. Jirobo, you will carry Kidamaru while I buy us some time. The big sound ninja nodded in understanding while Sakan got into a fighting stance. If he could get his brother inside of Kakashi, then their escape would be successful. He would need a distraction to get close. The Jonin wouldn't mind him being close since he doubted that Kakashi knew about his bloodline. Taiyuya would be useful in distracting the Jonin with her Genjutsu, but Kakashi's Sharingan would see through it. Going into the Curse Seal Level 2 was out of the question since Orochimaru had forbidden them from using it during the invasion. Nice to see that you're communicating with your team, Kakashi said with an eye smile. Why don't you stay on the village so you can teach my team a thing or two about teamwork? Damn. He's just messing with us, Sakan thought with a frown. He glanced at his teammates and saw that Jirobo was getting ready to sprint to Kidamaru's fallen form while Taiyuya stood near him. At least those two are in position. With a nod to his teammates, Sakan charged at Kakashi. The sound ninja tried to punch Kakashi, but the Jonin Denpai leaned to the right. He tried a kick, but Kakashi jumped over his leg before delivering a kick of his own. Sakan sailed through the air but managed to regain his balance and landed on the ground safely. Jirobo slung Kadamaru's unconscious body over his shoulder and gave a firm nod to Tayuya. The Kunoichi smirked. They were ready. Sakan charged at Kakashi once more. The Jonin inwardly sighed. The sound ninja didn't know how to control their emotions. They were skilled, but letting emotions control their actions was a big disadvantage. The sound shinobi threw a punch that Kakashi caught easily. Sakan smirked before received a backhand to the face. He felt some teeth leave his mouth as he was knocked back by the strong strike. He was finally knocked against the ground, but managed to smirk. Kakashi's eyes narrowed when he saw Sakan smirk. Something was off, but the Jonin didn't know what. He felt his hand twitch involuntarily before it reached into his kunai holster. The hand pulled out a kunai and put it to his neck. Sakan chuckled. "I got you," he said with an evil smirk. "My brother and I have a bloodline that lets us go inside other people's bodies and control them." "Your brother?" Kakashi asked in confusion. A head came out of Kakashi's shoulder and grinned. "Yes, a brother," Yukon said before running the kunai through Kakashi's neck. Gaara-san shot at Sasuke from all directions. Sasuke used his enhanced speed to dodge the sand. Gaara glared as the sand continued chasing after the Uchiha. His mother would get the blood she wanted. Sasuke could run all he wanted, but his mother would quench her thirst in the end. Sasuke gritted his teeth as he rolled on the ground in order to avoid another shot of sand. Gaara was attacking from all directions and not giving him time to counter. If he wanted to hurt the sand ninja, then he had to drop his enhanced speed. Doing this would leave him vulnerable to attacks, but it would give him the power he needed to bring Gaara down. The Uchiha jumped up a tree before coming to a rest on a branch. He ran through hand signs and put a hand on his mouth. Fire style, fireball jutsu. A large ball of flame shot out of Sasuke's mouth. The fireball flew towards Gaara, but before the attack could hurt the redhead, a large wall created of sand appeared before him. The fireball clashed against the wall of sand before bursting and creating a large explosion. Sasuke shielded his eyes from the explosion. He didn't notice the stream of sand making its way towards him before it was too late. The sand gripped his foot and flung him towards a tree. Sasuke sailed through the air but regained his balance and used his feet to bounce off the tree. Gaara's eyes widened when he saw Sasuke flying towards him. Sasuke raised his fist and punched Gaara on the jaw. Gaara's skin cracked and he crashed against a tree. Sasuke panted from where he stood. There was no way that Gaara would be getting up after that. He allowed a small smirk to escape his face. He had been able to defeat Gaara. This proved that he was strong. Not strong enough to beat Itachi, but he was getting there. The Uchiha gasped when sand shot out of where Gaara had been. Gaara walked towards him, but his appearance had changed. His right arm was now covered in sand, as was half of his face. He had a crazy look on his eye, and Sasuke couldn't help but shiver. Gaara was leaking out a killing intent even greater than Zabuza's. "You're dead, Uchiha," Gaara yelled in anger. "Are we almost there?" Sakura asked in slight panic. They stopped running. Pakin explained. "The two have probably begun to fight. We will reach them in a few minutes." Sakura, Shikamaru, and Shino had been following Pakin for what appeared to be a long time. The three genin couldn't believe what was happening on the village. On their way out, they had seen a giant three-headed snake attacking the village. There were fights between ninja almost everywhere on the village. Some corpses were seen around the village, and many wounded ninja dragged themselves around the village. The three genin had been rendered speechless at what they witnessed. This was their first war, and they had never imagined the things that they saw. "We have to think of a plan," Shikamaru informed his two comrades. "Gaara is no pushover. We can't engage him without a well-thought-out strategy." "What do you suggest?" Shino asked. "We don't have a lot to work with. We're only three ninja with very different abilities." Shikamaru frowned. Everything Shino had said was true. His own jutsu were very limited, while Shino's bugs were no match for Gaara. Sakura had no apparent skill and would only get on the way, so she was discarded from the battle. "Don't worry," Pakin said, "I smell one of the other summoned hounds coming this way. I assume that Kakashi sent another team to join with us." Shikamaru smirked. He knew exactly who was coming. "Our chances just went up," he said. "All we have to do is stall Gaara until Naruto arrives." "How do you know Naruto is coming?" Shino asked. "I know Naruto well," Shikamaru said with a small smirk. "He wouldn't let us fight Gaara alone. Even if he isn't strong enough to defeat him, or even if he's scared. He won't let us fight him alone. That's just the type of person he is." "How will Naruto help?" Sakura deadpanned. "He's not as strong as Sasuke." "Then you're in for a surprise when he gets here," Shikamaru said in an amused tone, leaving a very confused Sakura. Naruto gritted his teeth as he leapt from tree to tree, following the summoned dog. The dog had informed them that Sasuke was fighting at the moment, which meant that he had less time than he originally thought. Even though he admitted that Sasuke was strong, Gaara was on an entirely different level. If Gaara had a demon inside of him too, then that meant that he could use its power. If Gaara's demon was anything like his own, then Sasuke would be in trouble. Ino gave a glance at Naruto and frowned. He had been looking worried ever since they left the village. He had paid no attention to the battles going around the village since he appeared to be deep in thought. She didn't know what was going on in his head, but she knew that he was troubled by it. If Sasuke was fighting Gaara with Shikamaru and Shino only a few minutes away, why was he getting so worked up? There was no way Gaara could defeat the three of them. Naruto was hiding something, and she would find out what it was. Sasuke panted as he sat against a tree. Ever since Gaara transformed into a kind of half-demon, his skills and sand control had gone through the roof. Sasuke had been forced to retreat and had been running away from Gaara while thinking of what to do. Fire Jutsu would only be a waste of chakra since Gaara's sand would only block them. That only left the Chidori, but he would need time to charge it up. Sasuke's eyes widened when he saw grains of sand on the corner of the tree. He quickly jumped away and watched as the tree was engulfed with sand. Gaara stood where the tree had been and gave an evil smirk. The Uchiha threw a couple of kunai, but Gaara simply raised his sand-covered arm to block them. "Damn," Sasuke muttered as he leapt away from Gaara. The sand ninja's sand was getting on his nerves, but he couldn't do anything about it. "Stop running and let me kill you," Gaara yelled with rage. The Jinchuriki shot a wave of sand at Sasuke's retreating figure and smirked when he saw it hit its mark. Sasuke crashed into the ground and gasped in pain. He tried to stand, but found it useless when he felt sand surround his whole body. His eyes widened. He had seen what the sand did to its victims. The Uchiha screamed as he tried to get away from the sand that would crush him to death. The sand started to tighten around his body, and the sound of breaking bones was heard throughout the woods. Gaara licked his lips when he saw Sasuke squirm under his sand. Soon the Uchiha's blood would quench his mother's thirst, and his existence would be proven. He added pressure to the sand and smirked when he heard Sasuke scream in pain. Gaara felt so alive when he heard people scream in pain. It meant that they knew that he existed. He would soon ease his pain. Kakashi's lifeless body fell on the floor. Sakan smirked at his handiwork, but the smirk disappeared when Kakashi bursted in a cloud of smoke. What? Sakan screamed in denial. "Who was I fighting?" "A shadow clone," a voice said behind him before he lost consciousness. Yukon watched his brother fall unconscious and charged at Kakashi. The Jonin Denpai used his superior speed to go behind Yukon before knocking him unconscious. Their knowledge about the Sound Village would be useful to the Leaf. The two remaining members of the Sound Four used the moment to flee the scene. "I guess they got away," Kakashi sighed as he watched Tayuya and Jirobo, with an unconscious Kadamaru on his shoulder, leaving the arena. Kakashi picked up the two unconscious ninja and prepared to leave. "I'll take these two to Ibiki. He'll be able to get the information we need." Sasuke screamed in agony. His body was being completely crushed, and he could do nothing about it. He already found it difficult to breathe, and his movement had been completely restrained. Itachi had never seemed so far away. If he couldn't beat Gaara, then how would he be able to kill his brother and avenge his clan? Sasuke! Sakura's scream was heard. Gaara turned his gaze to the newcomers. 3 more ninja had arrived, which meant that he would get to kill more people. His mother would be quite content with him. He growled when he saw a swarm of bugs come at him. Forced to release Sasuke from his hold, Gaara raised his sand-covered arm to avoid being hurt by the bugs. Sakura immediately ran to Sasuke and began to cry. Sasuke! Please be all right, she cried out as she held his body close. Shikamaru frowned. Like he guessed, Sakura proved to be useless against Gaara. Emotions would only get people hurt on battle. That only left Shino and himself to stall Gaara long enough to have Naruto arrive and help put Gaara down. I will kill you all. Gaara yelled as he shot a wave of sand at them. Shino instantly put up a protective wall of bugs. The sand and bugs clashed and Shino saw a large number of his bugs dying. Fighting with his bugs wouldn't be an option against Gaara. They had to be able to outsmart him. Good thing that Shikamaru was with him. Shino, Shikamaru said with his gaze to Gaara, I want you to keep Gaara busy. I'll try to trap him with my shadow possession jutsu. I'll hold him as long as I can. Very well, Shino said with a nod, I'll try my best to distract him. Sakura! Shikamaru yelled, I want you to take Sasuke out of here. He's in no condition to fight. All right, Sakura said shakily. She steadied Sasuke with her shoulder and leapt away from the 3 genin. He won't be going anywhere. Gaara yelled. The sand Jinchuriki shot a wave of sand at Sakura's retreating figure, but found it was a bug clone. Where are you, Sasuke? You'll be fighting me, Shino said emotionlessly. The bug user shot his bugs at Gaara, who used his sand for cover. The bugs avoided the sand and latched into Gaara's body. Gaara flailed his body until the bugs were pushed away. He charged at Shino and punched him on the chest, but his body turned into a pile of bugs. Gaara grunted in pain when several kunai struck his back. I will kill you. Gaara's scream echoed through the woods as sand began to cover more of his body. His back became covered by sand and a large tail made of sand was formed. Gaara tried to charge at Shino but found himself unable to move. Shadow possession success, Shikamaru said with a smirk. Damn you! Gaara screamed as he tried to move. Shikamaru gritted his teeth as he tried to keep hold of the sand ninja. He was already low on chakra from his fight with Temari. Holding Gaara for more than a few minutes would be impossible. Hurry up, Naruto, Shikamaru thought as he struggled to keep Gaara in place. Let me go. Gaara screamed as his body started to counter the effects of the shadow possession. Damn it. Shikamaru cursed as Gaara began to overpower him. Shino. Keep him still with your bugs. Right, Shino said as his bugs covered Gaara's body. Gaara's sand enveloped the bugs before crushing them. It's useless. You're on your own. I'll prove my existence. Gaara yelled as he finally broke away from Shikamaru's hold. The sand ninja instantly charged at the lazy genius and struck him on the chest. Shino was about to aid Shikamaru but was struck by Gaara's sand. The 2-leaf shinobi fell on the ground while panting in exhaustion. I'll kill you both before going after the Uchiha. Shikamaru and Shino could do nothing but stay where they were. Their bodies gave up on them and they ached all over. Gaara's strength was monstrous compared to theirs. Shikamaru cursed his luck. All he ever wanted was to have a peaceful life with a family, but all that was over now. He gazed at the clouds and smiled. He would miss watching them. Gaara took his time in making his way over to the 2 fallen shinobi. He savored each second of their suffering. They knew that they were going to die and they would scream in fear. That was what Gaara lived for, killing to prove he still lived. Wind style, devastation. A powerful gust of wind knocked Gaara away from the fallen genin. Shikamaru turned his gaze to see Naruto and Ino running over to them. Ino kneeled next to the 2 in order to check for wounds. Naruto stood next to them in his taijutsu stance. Shikamaru turned to the blonde and his eyes widened when he saw something he never thought he would see in Naruto's eyes: fury. You came to die too? Gaara asked with a crazed look on his face. Very well, I'll kill you too. If you ever come near any of my friends again, Naruto started with his hands and mouth twitching from pure fury, I'll kill you. Naruto opened his right palm to reveal a seal on the glove he wore. The seal shone and one of Asuma's blades appeared on his hand. The blonde ran at Gaara at full speed. The sand ninja shot a stream of sand, but Naruto easily jumped over it. He proceeded to create a clone that flung him towards Gaara. Before the sand Jinchuriki knew what happened, his sand arm had been cut off by Naruto's blade. Wind style, air bullets. Naruto shot out several balls of wind that hit Gaara all over his body. The attack ended with Naruto putting his hand on Gaara's stomach, wind style, spiraling wind ball. The attack's force knocked Gaara away from the blonde Jinchuriki. The redhead crashed against a tree and struggled to get up. And Naruto? Shino asked himself in disbelief. He had never expected Naruto to do what he and Shikamaru couldn't by himself. What Shikamaru had said was true, Naruto's power would surprise them all. Ino, Naruto said in a serious voice, I want you to take Shikamaru and Shino out of here. Not this again. Ino snapped, I'll help you. You don't have to do this alone. Fine, Naruto answered, but when it gets too dangerous, I want you three away from here. Ino couldn't answer as a wave of sand shot off towards Naruto. The blonde rolled to the right and his eyes widened when he saw the sand rip a tree from its roots. Gaara was now almost completely covered in sand with his right arm restored. Gaara charged at Naruto with a scream. The blonde tried to jump away but was struck by a wave of sand. The blonde sailed through the air before spinning and landing on the ground with a light thud. Water style, liquid bullets. Ino yelled as she put a hand on her mouth and shot out several water balls. The water balls struck Gaara, making him wince slightly. Gaara turned to Ino, but as soon as he did, he received a large wound on his back, courtesy of Naruto's blade. Gaara growled before shooting sand at the annoying blondes. Naruto rolled away from the attack while creating a shadow clone. Ino wasn't fast enough to dodge, but the Naruto clone used a substitution jutsu on her, making it take the hit and dispel afterwards. Naruto gazed at Ino and gave her a firm nod. Ino responded with a confident grin and a nod of her own, showing she understood. Since they trained together with Asuma, they had learned a few combination attacks. It turned out that the two could cover each other's weaknesses pretty well. Water/wind style, bullet barrage. The two yelled as they ran through hand signs and put a hand to their mouths. The two blondes shot out several air and water balls at Gaara. The sand Jinchuriki used sand to cover the attack, but the water from Ino's liquid bullets brought his defenses down. The air and liquid bullets broke through the sand barrier and struck Gaara all throughout his body. The attack ended with two strong air and liquid bullets hitting the redhead and knocking him back several feet. Naruto panted as he watched Gaara fall on the ground. How are you on chakra, Ino? He asked. I have used about half of my reserves. I think I have enough chakra for one more attack, Ino admitted while panting heavily. Why don't I go inside of his mind and control him while you deliver the final blow? No. Naruto yelled, almost immediately, don't even think of doing that. Why not? Ino asked in confusion. Because he has a demon inside of him, Shikamaru said while sitting against a tree. Isn't that right, Naruto? What are you talking about? That's impossible, Ino said with a shocked expression. I didn't remember until now, Shikamaru began, but many of the tailed demons would be sealed within humans on times of war. This was to gain an upper hand when it came to power. Why, you're serious? Ino asked in disbelief. Shikamaru nodded. It's true, he turned to Naruto. You knew he wasn't lying when he admitted that he had a demon within him because you've heard of this subject before, right? Naruto stood quietly before turning to Shikamaru with a smile. Right, he said. I think that it was one of those classes where I actually paid attention. Is Gaara defeated? Shino asked after a moment of silence. No, Naruto said with a frown, it was way too easy. I know that he'll get up soon. What should we do? Shino asked with slight alarm heard on his voice. All of you have to leave, Naruto said in a serious tone. I'm not leaving, Naruto. Ino exclaimed with a frown. You're almost out of chakra, Ino, Naruto said with a sad look. Please leave, I couldn't live with myself if I knew I got you hurt. Ino was about to protest, but saw the look on Naruto's eyes. It was a look of desperation mixed with nothing but concern, all directed to her. She couldn't help but blush slightly knowing that Naruto really cared for her. Fine, she said with a sad smile, I'll leave with these two. But please, I want you to come back to the village safely, and if you don't then you'll have to make it up to me. Fine, Naruto said with a small smile, I promise I'll kick this guy's ass. Ino couldn't help but laugh slightly before helping Shikamaru and Shino up. The V began to leave the scene with Ino throwing a last glance at Naruto. I know you'll beat him, she thought with a smile, you're the future Hokage after all. Naruto watched his friends leave with a grin before turning to where Gaara had been thrown. Soon enough, the sand ninja stood back up with a look of anger on his face. Naruto slipped into his taijutsu stance and infused chakra onto his blade. The blonde ran at Gaara, who used his sand to attack him. Not having a lot of energy left, Naruto was hit and thrown back. Using the ground as a spring, Naruto leapt at Gaara. The sand ninja used his sand arm to cover the attack. The blonde punched the arm before using his blade to cut through it. As soon as the arm fell on the ground, another one began to reform. Before it formed completely, Naruto kicked Gaara on the face. The redhead flinched and felt a fist connect with his stomach. Gaara raised his fist to attack, but Naruto hopped to the right and delivered a kick to his stomach. Naruto followed with an elbow to Gaara's chest and a kick to the face. Gaara recovered from the kick and punched Naruto away with his newly formed right arm. The blonde landed on the ground with a hard thud but stood up immediately. Shadow Clone Jutsu, he yelled as 3 clones appeared beside him. The 3 charged at Gaara and began to attack. Gaara wasn't able to strike back since they wouldn't stop their attacks. One of the clones' stance fell and Gaara took the opportunity. He punched the first clone, while blocking a kick with his sand arm. He shot a stream of sand at the last 2 clones and looked for the original. He hissed when he felt something dig into his tail. He turned around to see Naruto trying to jump away, but before he could get away, Gaara managed to punch him with his sand arm. Naruto sailed through the air and smirked. Got you, he said as he crashed to the ground. Gaara heard the sound of something burning before the kunai that had been stabbed into his tail exploded. The redhead screamed in pain, since the tail was the only vulnerable place on his body. He was blown away before crashing against a tree, headfirst. Gaara was instantly knocked unconscious. Naruto stood up shakily and glanced at Gaara's unconscious form. He smirked. He might be bleeding all over the place, have broken bones, internal bleeding, but at least he managed to win. Sand shot out of Gaara's body and began to cover him. Naruto gasped when he felt demonic chakra around the area. Gaara's demon was taking over. The sand formed a giant raccoon made of sand with a single tail. I'm finally out. Shikaku cheered, no more stupid kid holding me back. Damn, Naruto said with a weary look on his face. I only have to take care of one thing first. The one-tailed demon turned towards Naruto and gave an evil smirk. I'll kill you to quench my thirst. What the hell do I do? Naruto asked himself through gritted teeth. A million thoughts raced through Naruto's head as Shikaku's giant claws descended upon him, with the most prominent one being, fuck. The blonde replaced himself with a log, before putting some distance between himself and the giant demon. He had no idea what to do. He was almost out of chakra, so wind jutsu would only be a waste of since it wouldn't hurt something that big. Summoning was very tempting, but he wasn't able to summon Gamabunta without the fox's chakra. Where are you? Naruto heard Shikaku yell. The blonde sat against a tree, hidden from the demon's view, and began to brainstorm ways of beating it without the aid of the Kyuubi. Shadow clones might be able to slow down the one-tailed demon, but they required a lot of chakra, something he couldn't waste at the moment. His improved Uzumaki barrage was out of the question since, again, he didn't have enough chakra. Summoning the chief toad seemed to be the only option he had left. With much hesitation, Naruto closed his eyes and focused his attention on finding the Kyuubi's chakra. It took a few seconds, but he found the vile chakra and began to draw from it. The blonde hated every minute of it. He hated needing the help of a demon, he hated the burning of his skin whenever he used the fox's chakra, and most of all, he couldn't stand the amount of hatred that came with the vile chakra. Even though he was still conscious of the things he did, under the influence of the fox's chakra, he would feel a large amount of hate towards anyone that looked his way. He would grow more aggressive and lust for blood. The blonde's appearance began to change. His fangs grew in size until they stuck out of his mouth, his cheek marks darkened, and his hair became spikier. Naruto felt his hatred towards everything and everyone grow. Repressed emotions from his childhood flared and a growl escaped his mouth. Those damned fools had treated him like dirt, they should pay. He would kill them. The blonde Jinchuriki opened his eyes to reveal piercing red eyes with black slits. With the little amount of reason Naruto had, he tried to calm himself. He had forgiven the villagers since they were only scared and had lost a lot of things to the fox. He had grown to love the village, it was his home. All of his friends lived there and he would protect them at all costs. The people who took away some of the pain and saved him from that dark and lonely place. Naruto felt some of the hate leave and focused his attention on defeating the large demon. Naruto bit his thumb and ran through hand signs before slamming his hands on the branch he had been standing on. Summoning Jetsu. A giant cloud of smoke appeared in the middle of the forest, gaining Shikaku's attention. There was a loud sound of crashing trees before the smoke began to disappear. Standing on the forest, facing Shikaku, was the chief toad Gamabunto with his summoner, Naruto, on its head. "Why have you summoned me, kid?" Gamabunto asked in annoyance. He had been in the middle of a meal. Naruto pointed at Shikaku. "Are you blind?" Naruto spat out, "That's the reason I summoned you. I want that demon down." Gamabunto frowned. There was something off about the kid. The blonde reeked of demonic chakra, and the chief toad instantly knew that he was using the fox's chakra at the moment. "I'll help you fight him. But the minute you stop using that chakra, I will kick your ass. I'll kill you all." Shikaku yelled as he opened his mouth, wind-style, air bullets. Giant balls of wind came out of Shikaku's mouth, making Naruto's look like a drop in the ocean. Water-style, liquid bullets. Gamabunto yelled as he shot out giant balls of water that countered Shikaku's, "Hang on, kid." "To what?" Naruto yelled as the toad jumped up. Using chakra to stick to the toad's head, Naruto watched as the two giants clashed. Gamabunto grabbed Shikaku's shoulders but was easily pushed away. The toad reached for his blade and charged at the one-tailed demon. With a clean swipe, the blade dug into Shikaku's skin but made no damage. It simply dug into the sand. The demon struck the chief toad on the face before Gamabunto jumped away to put some distance between the two. "Nobody's capable of stopping me." Shikaku cheered, "I'll destroy everything." Naruto growled, still under the effects of the Kyuubi's chakra. "Any ideas, chief?" The blonde Jinchuriki asked. "Kick his ass already." "I'm no match for a tailed best, you fool." Shikaku snapped in anger. "We have to wake up Shikaku's host." Naruto looked at the demon and saw no sign of Gaara. "How the hell do we do that?" he asked with a frown. "I don't see that Gaara bastard anywhere." "The kid should be on Shikaku's forehead," Gamabunto explained. "You have to get through the sand in order to wake him up." "I'll get close to him, be ready to attack." "Got it," Naruto said with a firm nod. Ino, Shino, and Shikamaru watched the battle from a safe distance. Ino wanted to be there in case Naruto needed help, while Shino and Shikamaru were too tired to go any further. Gaara was winning by the looks of things, but the giant toad wasn't so far behind. Shikamaru thought that they were about even, but the giant raccoon had the upper hand since the toad's blades couldn't cut through the sand. It's going to be a long fight, Shino said. Shikamaru nodded. I just hope Naruto makes it out alive, he said with a sigh. That Gaara is way past Genin level. Don't say things like that. Ino snapped. Naruto will come back safely. He promised. Get ready, kid, Gamabunta said as he charged at Shikaku. The chief toad took hold of its sides and held him in a tight grip. Go wake him up. Naruto jumped off Gamabunta's head and onto Shikaku's. Wind style, Naruto began to run through hand seals before bringing a hand to his mouth. Devastation. A powerful gust of air came out of Naruto's mouth and blew part of the sand on Shikaku's head away, revealing Gaara's unconscious form. Wake up, you bastard! The blonde yelled as he raised his fist, ready to punch Gaara awake. Shikaku's eyes widened. I won't go back in. The one-tailed demon began to thrash about, breaking Gamabunta's hold on him. Get the hell off. It began to shake its head rapidly, and raged at the brat that was trying to put him back on that damned prison. Naruto tried to hold on by using his chakra to stick to the head, but found it incredibly hard. With one last shake of its head, Naruto was thrown off the Shikaku and fell towards the ground at an incredible pace. The blonde saw the oncoming ground and closed his eyes. It would hurt. He felt something wrap around his waist and his fall stopped. I got you, kid, Gamabunta said with his tongue wrapped around Naruto. I'll kill you both. Shikaku yelled. It opened its mouth and small bubbles started to form around it. There were small blue bubbles mixed with black bubbles. The small bubbles simply floated around until they began to move towards Shikaku's mouth. The bubbles began to merge and started to create a large black sphere. The chief toad put Naruto back on its head just in time to witness the attack beginning to form. What the hell is that? Naruto exclaimed in anger. Gamabunta's eyes widened. He had seen that attack before. There's only one thing to do, kid. You're going to get one last shot at waking the kid. If you don't, then your village is doomed. Naruto's eyes widened and he narrowed his eyes. He would stop the Shikaku for his friends. He had promised himself to protect them all on his own power. The fox wouldn't help end this fight, he would make sure of it. His appearance began to turn back to normal, showing that the Kyuubi's chakra was leaving his system. I'm going to throw you high in the air. Use the momentum to deliver your strongest attack and wake the kid. Don't worry, Chief, I'll wake him up, Naruto assured with a confident grin. Gamabunta's tongue wrapped tightly around Naruto's waist as Shikaku's attack was done charging. Shikaku swallowed the black ball as Gamabunta threw Naruto in the air. Shikaku's stomach inflated before returning to normal. The Shikaku opened its mouth and released a powerful yellow beam that tore into the ground and obliterated trees as it made its way to the chief toad. Naruto watched the attack in awe while rocketing up the sky. He looked at the chief toad facing the powerful attack with nothing but his large sword and smiled. Gamabunta was truly brave. As the attack approached Gamabunta, the chief toad left in a cloud of smoke to return home to safety. What the hell? Naruto thought with an angry expression. Why did he just leave me here? The attack exploded into the ground in a display of raw power. Trees were blown away and smoke filled the entire area. When the smoke cleared, there was a huge crater where Gamabunta had been standing only moments ago. I killed them! Shikaku cheered, not seeing Naruto sailing through the air. He's distracted, now's my chance. Naruto muttered to himself. He wouldn't let the stupid demon hurt his friends or the village. He had promised to protect them and had told Ino that he would go back to the village safely. He had to win. Naruto's momentum ended and he began to fall rapidly. This is it, he thought as he held his right hand to the side and began to forge wind chakra into his palm. Wind gathered on his hand and a ball of wind began to form. The ball of wind chakra flashed blue for a second before turning back to its original white and gray color. Wind style, spiraling wind ball. Naruto yelled as he crashed into Shikaku's head. The attack resulted on a large crater on Shikaku's head and a huge cloud of sand. Damn it! Shikaku screamed in pain. Gaara's unconscious form became visible on Shikaku's head and Naruto ran at it with his right fist held back. "Wake the hell up already!" Naruto yelled as he brought his fist to Gaara's face. His fist connected with Gaara's jaw with a loud breaking bone sound, from Gaara's jaw or his own knuckles, he didn't know. Gaara's eyes snapped open and Shikaku's body began to break. "No! Damn it!" The Shikaku yelled as it began to disappear. Soon Shikaku's whole body turned back to ordinary sand, leaving Naruto and Gaara falling helplessly to the ground since they were not able to move anymore from the strain their bodies had taken. The two landed on the unforgiving ground with loud thuds and everything grew quiet on the woods. No more sounds of battle, no more curses, no more tremors. The only thing heard was the heavy breathing of two shinobi. Gaara was sprawled on the ground. His whole body ached and his jaw was in incredible pain. He couldn't understand how he had gotten beaten. He had experienced more pain than anyone and lived only for himself. How had he lost? What did he lack? Naruto's muffled groan was heard. He had fallen on the ground face down, hurting most of his bones. His chakra was almost gone and his body was in pain. With the adrenaline gone, he could feel each of the wounds Gaara had inflicted on him. But he wasn't done yet. Gaara was still there and was a danger to the village, to his friends. The blonde gritted his teeth and began to drag himself towards Gaara. He and the redhead were the same, but Gaara had taken a turn he had avoided thanks to Iruka and all of his friends. Gaara's eyes widened when he saw Naruto moving towards him. The redhead's body wouldn't move, he was vulnerable, Naruto would kill him. "No," Gaara said in fear, "I won't have my existence erased." "Get away! Stop!" The blonde didn't stop and continued to move towards Gaara, causing him to scream in fear. Naruto stopped dragging himself towards Gaara, making the redhead stop screaming and look at him in fear of being killed. Naruto understood why Gaara didn't want to die. All Gaara had was himself, his life was all he cherished. Just like Naruto had. It's almost unbearable. Isn't it? Gaara gave Naruto a confused expression. The blonde slowly lifted his face to meet Gaara's gaze. The redhead looked into Naruto's eyes and his eyes widened slightly. Those eyes were just like his own, full of loneliness. "I know what it's like," Naruto began, "having everyone look at you in fear. Being ignored by everyone and avoided like the plague. I have a demon inside of me too." Gaara's eyes widened. Someone else knew of his pain. "There was a time when I felt just like you. I hated everyone. I wanted them all to feel my pain, wanted to make them suffer for acting like I didn't exist. Like my life didn't even matter." A few tears escaped Naruto's eyes and he gave a small smile. "But then, I met Iruka-sensei. He was the first person other than the Hokage to acknowledge me. At that point I thought that there was hope. Maybe I could be acknowledged by more people." Gaara listened to every word, wondering if he too could be acknowledged, as time passed. "I met more people that looked at me as a friend. Someone important to them." Naruto smiled thinking of his friends, the people he would give his life to protect. "I grew to cherish those bonds and nothing will ever break them, even if they are damaged. That's why I'll give my life to protect them. They took me out of that dark and lonely place, they are my saviors." Naruto's gaze turned to one of anger and he began to try to stand up. He used his left hand to support himself before doing the same with his right. It was hard and painful, but he managed to get into a crawling position. "If you ever try to hurt them," he glared at Gaara, "I'll slaughter you." Gaara turned his gaze to the sky, reflecting on his life. Love is what made him strong, he thought. Maybe I can form bonds also. I still don't understand completely, but I will try. The redhead turned back to Naruto and gave him a nod. "I don't want to fight anymore. I won't hurt your friends." Naruto smiled weakly. "I understand why you acted like you did." The blonde gave Gaara a grin. "I won't hold it against you. Maybe we could become friends in the future, Gaara. Gaara managed a small grin. I'd like that, he said weakly, Naruto Uzumaki. The blonde smiled before he laid down on the ground and closed his eyes, the effects of the fight finally too much for him. He slipped into blissful unconsciousness with inner peace. He had succeeded on protecting his friends. Is it over? Ino asked. Shikamaru and Shino had seen the disappearance of the Shikaku after a big explosion happened on its head. It appears so, Shino said. Shikamaru closed his eyes and smirked. He actually did it, he said. We might as well go get him. He opened his eyes to see Shino pointing towards Naruto's direction. Ino left while you were talking, Shino said. Man, Shikamaru replied with a sigh, blondes are way too troublesome. Kakashi arrived to a weird scene. Naruto was sleeping on the ground with Gaara gazing at the sky only a few feet away. He expected to arrive to see the two trying to kill each other, but, to be honest, he was glad they were done. It meant he was probably done fighting for the day. He would fight for his village any day, but it was always good to lay back and relax. I take it you beat Naruto? Kakashi asked the redhead. Gaara shook his head with his gaze never leaving the sky. I was defeated by Naruto. He admitted, his merely resting, a luxury which I do not have. Kakashi smiled, he was proud of his student. He had assumed that Naruto had calmed Gaara down after losing, but he had actually defeated a Chunin-level ninja. It would be the last time he didn't believe in his student. I take it Naruto told you of his burden. Gaara turned his gaze to Kakashi and nodded, good. I hope you two become friends. Because you know of each other's pain, then it'll be easier to cope with it. It's always a good thing to have a friend you can familiarize with. I hope I'll be able to follow in Naruto's example, Gaara said with a small nod. Well, Kakashi said with an ice smile breaking the tension, sorry to say this, but I have to take you back to the village. Don't worry though, you won't be trialed since you were listening to the orders of an impostor. The Kazekage died? Receiving a nod from Kakashi, Gaara gazed at the sky once again. That's good. Kakashi's sweat dropped. He probably didn't want to know why it was a good thing. With a shrug, Kakashi created a shadow clone and had him pick up the two Jinchurikis. They would need some medical attention, but then again, many ninja did. It would probably be a while before they were discharged. Kakashi inwardly smirked. It would give him a lot of quality reading time. Naruto's eyes opened slightly before closing again. He could probably get a few more minutes of sleep. The blonde went back to sleep but felt something soft on his cheek. He was puzzled as to what it was. He had never felt anything like it, and it left a tingling sensation on his cheek. The blonde regained some conscience and wondered where he was. The last thing he remembered was talking to Gaara and then going to sleep. The blonde slowly opened his eyes. He was greeted by white walls and immediately closed his eyes due to the light they reflected. He waited a few seconds before opening his eyes again and making sense of where he was. His right hand was heavily bandaged and he was in a white bed. Great, I'm in the hospital, Naruto thought with a groan. He hated hospitals. They smelled funny and had the worst tasting food that would only taste worse because of the hospital's smell. The sound of footsteps got his attention and he turned his gaze to the white door. Seriously, why did everything have to be white in hospitals? Ino stood in front of the door with a hand on the doorknob. She turned around and got a shocked look on her face. And Naruto? Ino asked, still with the shocked look, but it slowly turned into a smile. You're awake. Without thinking, Ino threw herself at Naruto and enveloped him in a hug. Naruto felt a blush make its way to his cheeks, but returned the hug with his good hand. Why am I here? He asked. The blonde had no idea what happened after Gaara's defeat. Ino broke the hug and smiled at the blonde. You've been unconscious for 6 days, she informed him, giggling at his shocked expression. After you beat Gaara, Kakashi-sensei brought you here. You were pretty hurt, but at least you won, right? I guess, Naruto said with a puzzled look. What happened to Gaara? Ino frowned. He was here for 1 day and then they just let him go. She snapped. Can you believe that? He didn't get in trouble for anything. Naruto chuckled. Ino was funny whenever she got riled up. Don't worry about it, Ino. Naruto said with his usual cheerfulness, it's not like Gaara did anything wrong. He was just following his village's orders. Besides, he didn't actually attack the village himself. What are you talking about? Ino snapped with an angry look. Loot at you, Naruto. You're hurt. Do you know how worried I was? I don't know why they let him go after he left you like this. Naruto gave Ino a reassuring smile. I'm fine, Ino, really. He lifted his right hand and waved it around. This is nothing. I'll be back to normal in no time. Ino was about to retaliate, but Naruto interrupted. It's really okay, Ino. I know why Gaara did what he did. He didn't have anyone, so he was only trying to find a way to show he existed. It's okay, Ino. Ino sighed. Leave it to Naruto to have such a forgiving heart. Fine. But... She pointed a finger at Naruto and smiled. You owe me. What? Naruto exclaimed. I don't owe you anything. Ino's smile grew bigger. Of course you do, she started. You promised that you would get back to the village safely and you did not. Naruto shuddered. He knew that Gamma would be taking another blow soon. What did you have in mind? He scratched the back of his head. It's not shopping again, is it? Ino crossed her arms. What is it with men hating shopping? She asked with a fake frown. She gave Naruto a smile that he knew all too well. It usually led to something he didn't want to do. You're going to have dinner with me and my parents. What? Naruto half yelled. You heard me, Ino said with a triumphant smile. My parents wanted to know more about you and they never got to talk to you. It's only fair that you have a decent dinner with them. Fine, Naruto said. He assumed that facing his fear of adults would be a good thing. What kind of future Hokage didn't talk to adults? Good. Ino exclaimed with a smile. I'll tell my parents and then we'll set the date. The door opened once again, getting the attention of the two blondes, and the Hokage entered the room. Hello, Naruto, Sarutobi said with a small smile. It's nice to see you finally woke up. Hey, old man. Naruto greeted with a smile. Glad to see you're okay. Ino turned to Naruto and gave him a cold glare. Naruto, she whispered harshly, you can't talk to the Hokage like that. Naruto was about to disagree but saw the intensity of the glare. All right. He said with a nervous smile, what brings you here? Lord Hokage? Ino gave Naruto a sweet smile. Naruto found himself blushing slightly and quickly turned his gaze to the Hokage, expecting him to say something. I came here to thank you, the Hokage said. He smiled at the odd looks the blondes gave him. Thanks to your intervention, Orochimaru's plans were ruined. It was nothing, Naruto said with an embarrassed blush. The Hokage chuckled. I also wanted to thank you for not only stopping Gaara, but for steering him to the right path. You completed your first A-rank mission as a leader and proved to be capable of making right decisions concerning your teammates' well-being. Sarutobi took out a sealing scroll and gave it to Naruto. I would like you to open it and be the first to congratulate you. Naruto poured some chakra into the scroll and watched as something appeared in a small cloud of smoke. The blonde's eyes widened and he gave Sarutobi an exited smile. The Hokage smiled. Naruto had truly done him proud and deserved what he gave him. I would like to congratulate you on becoming a Chunin, the Hokage said with a smile. Naruto looked at the vest sitting on his lap and smiled. All right. The blonde cheered, one step closer to becoming Hokage. You deserve it, Naruto, Ino said with a smile. I have to leave now, Sarutobi said with a nod of his head. There's much to do in the village. I'll see you later, old M. I mean Lord Hokage. Naruto said while giving Ino a nervous smile. The Hokage smiled and left the room, happy that Naruto was turning out to be a strong shinobi. I have to go too, Naruto, Ino said with a hint of disappointment. I have to go help in the flower shop. Naruto nodded before getting a confused look on his face. Hey, Ino, Naruto said in a confused tone. Ino gave him a questioning look and motioned him to go on. I'm not really sure, but I felt something on my cheek earlier. Do you know what it was? Ino's whole face turned red and she turned her gaze to the floor. I don't know what you're talking about. She muttered quietly. I don't know, Naruto continued. I really think I felt something press against my cheek. Ino snapped her gaze at Naruto and gave him an angry look that didn't have the desired effect, with a deep blush adorning her cheeks. Shut up. She exclaimed, I'm out of here. Ino ran out of the room, leaving a very confused Naruto. What did I do? He asked himself with confusion written all over his face. I really don't understand girls.
That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.